Okie dokie, kids, buckle up. We're gonna piss some people off today. And that's because a large portion of the Lost Ark player base are a bunch of brainless, entitled fucks. Honest to God. We'll get into exactly what populace that I mean, but if the shoe fits, go right ahead and fuck yourself. This is going to be an argument that a lot of you have seen or heard before many times, and I'm hoping that this will be at least a definitive discussion on the matter, and it will help people to change, although I kind of really doubt it. Faith in humanity is not high right now. But what happened? What has Vash hissed at the Lost Ark community? So let's say, I get my Deathblade, I go into a Congolanium, Froscomanium, Ice Turtle, whatever the fuck you want to call it, and I'm doing everything I should, but after first phase change, I get kicked. The reason being is for battle items. Now, bear with me here. I know some of you are already rolling your eyes, and some of you probably already are typing in the comments about what a piece of shit I am because I don't Pharaoh in a Congolanium. But it's more than that. I stopped using battle items just so I could show you guys what happens when you don't. People will kick you, people will berate you and then kick you, people will go AFK and then insult you and the team for the entire rest of the raid, which is fucking stupid. And then people will participate but then still insult you for the rest of the raid, and then people will leave. Leaving is actually the most reasonable response I saw, because kicking someone isn't reasonable, insulting them isn't reasonable, but if you don't want to deal with that type of player yourself, you can leave and that's fine. You lose time, which makes no sense, but that's fine. And I asked a lot of people, I asked friends, I even asked randos in matchmaking if they believe that FPPC should apply in matchmaking, or if battle items are a necessity, or else you get kicked. And the overwhelming consensus was you should use battle items, but no, it's not worth kicking or insulting or any of that shit. And let me get into why, okay? Before people are, there's no stopping people in the comments section. They're gonna do whatever the fuck they want. But let's establish some baselines and some definitions. So as a baseline, I think anything pre-made should have battle items used in a Guardian raid. And then it's a given that battle items should be used in Legion raid type activities. Because if you can find me a Lost Ark Discord that doesn't have a if you can find me a Lost Ark Discord that doesn't have a resource channel with at least one ATK vid and one of those raid cheat sheets that circulates on Reddit flaunting battle item usage to everyone and their dog, I will shit my pants. Everyone knows that battle items are used there, but everyone also knows that they're a matter of convenience. They are not a means to complete the raid. But anyways, now that I've got that out of the way just so I avoid people saying that I'm a cheap fuck who doesn't throw a destruction bomb in Vulcan. Let's talk about matchmaking. What is matchmaking? Matchmaking is a tool that you use when you don't have the time to go pre-made, or you don't want to bother with pre-made, to get paired with other people with the understanding that, one, everyone wants to work towards the goal of finishing the activity, and two, the people you get paired with have experience and gear beyond your control. You obviously can't go into a Congolanium expecting to get paired with 1490s with 5x3 and level 10 gems. Like, it's not fucking possible. You understand when you matchmake that you are content getting whatever the game gives you, and you go from there. So that's matchmaking and why people do it. Now let's talk about participation in a Guardian raid. How would we define participation? This, I believe, is a definition we could all agree upon as actively attacking the Guardian during the raid and actively using your abilities to the benefit of the team until the end of the raid. And non-participation would be defined as, at any point in the raid, stopping your attacks on the Guardian or stopping your abilities to the benefit of the team, and then continuing to withhold it from that point on in the raid. So if someone pops in and they're AFK right off the bat, that's a non-participant. Or if someone drops out halfway through and just sits over in one alcove, I don't fucking know, that's a non-participant as well. And now that we've done that, let's also define entitlement, because someone's probably going to try and say that I'm entitled with this. Let's establish a definition for entitlement. Entitlement is having an expectation that is higher than the standard of others or entities. Just because obviously that can extend in weird ways, but the reason why I say you're entitled fucks is because when you matchmake a Guardian raid, the only expectation you can have for people, which is the standard expectation, is that they try to finish the raid. The definition for participation didn't include battle items for a reason, and that's because they're not universally applicable. You cannot say that participation is defined by battle item usage and then go to Deska where none is fucking used and then think it applies. It doesn't work that way. That's not participation. Battle items are a matter of convenience. Battle items will not complete a raid by themselves. If you think otherwise, you're fucking nuts. But in addition to why I'm calling you entitled and why I think you're fucking nuts. Let's talk about some math real quick, because I do think that this gets unreasonable. Technically, right now, it is still worthwhile to do Congolanium over Descaluda, even if you're using battle items and having to buy them. But let's talk about that. So at the time of this recording, flares are 14 gold, pharaohs are 30 gold, and corrosives are 40 gold. The difference between a Congolanium and a Descaluda is 4 greater honor leap stones, 30 destruction stones, and 110 guardian stones. And right now that also translates to about 262 gold. So that means that for each 262 gold that I'm earning over Descaluda on my 1460 plus characters, in order to appease the masses with battle item usage, I need to spend 80 gold per day, which ends up being 560 gold per character per week, and that ends up being 2800 gold per week, and that's just with 5 characters. If I had 6, that'd be 3k. I'm biting a 30% loss from doing Congolanium just to do Congolanium. Like, that's fucking stupid. Like, if you put it up front like that, and you give people the choice between spending 3k to do Guardians for that week, or adding 30 seconds to their raid times, most people are gonna choose the 30 seconds. Like, unless your time management is so down to the wire that you need those 30 seconds gone in order to function with your day, you have bigger problems than randos not using a pharaoh and matchmaking. But for shits, let's humor people and say that non-standard participation like battle items is now part of the metric to determine participation. What else is? Does that mean I can kick your 1460 alts when they don't have 6-piece relic? Because there's a lot of you. Like, where do you draw that line? Do we include DPS rotations? There's no fucking way to know. It is impossible to determine someone's actual participation or withholding in the fight based off of DPS or battle items. Because you could have a 1490 that is, 5x3 with their level 10 gems and all that shit, but they don't know shit about their character. Maybe there's some giga whale. They don't know fuck all. And because of that, they're not doing a proper DPS rotation. And because of that, the 1460 with 3x3 who knows what they're doing is out damaging them. You can't determine based off of gear. You can't determine based off of non-standard participation. The only way you can possibly tell if someone is fucking helping the raid or not is standard participation as defined before. Like, to expect anything else of matchmaking, which we already clarified is something you do when you're content getting matched with whatever the fuck, something you have no control over, is insane. And I think the people who feel the need to kick others or berate them throughout the raid, when that happens, when they find people that don't use a fucking pheromone, like, you're an actual piece of shit. And I genuinely hope you get the therapy you need. Because holy fuck, dude. And two quick closing notes. Because I know in the comments I will inevitably see someone compare NA to KR. I don't give a fuck what the Koreans do. I really don't, because we're not playing on KR. Also, the cultures are entirely different. Just a very quick but easy example. Korean buses, even if they're paying for the bus, passengers are expected never to bid on books. And that's standard in Korea. But in NA, it's understood that you're paying for the service of the bus, and that also earns you the right to pay at the end for the book if you want. Like, there's no reason not to bid. You've paid for the bus. You got to that point. They can't lay claim to the bid. And that's how it is in NA. Because it's stupid to lay claim to the bid on an activity where someone's paying you to take them through. Like, what are you gonna lay claim to their fucking activity rewards as well? You can't get their bound leap stones. Fuck off. But, like, there's so many differences between the culture in NA and KR, and it's just not worth comparing, so don't. And then the other thing that people probably mentioned about halfway through this video, commenting before letting me get to this point, is that rest bonus changes my math. And I get that. Rest bonus does change my math, but it's also impossible to assume that everyone in matchmaking is doing rested, and it's also impossible to assume that everyone in matchmaking is doing unrested. And because of that, it doesn't matter what the fuck the math is. The only reason I gave you that math specifically was because when I try to play, I also do unrested. So that's the math that makes sense to me, but the point is it doesn't matter, because you can't assume someone's scenario. You can't assume if they're doing rested or unrested, and it's fucking stupid to try and bully them into self-imposing an 80 gold per activity tax. That's moronic. Anyways, to wrap up, even outside of Ice Turtle, there's raging entitlement everywhere. It's so fucking stupid. Like, the recent borked update, everyone was bitching about that. That's the second update they've borked in a year. That's still A grade. They are doing a great job. But I feel like with the current player base, you could see a Smilegate dev walking down the street, and they might scuff their foot and stumble. And even if they catch themselves, a player will drive over and say, "Give me $20. You fucked up. I deserve compensation." Like, what the actual fuck is wrong with everyone, dude? They gave amazing compensation, but all people did was bitch for more. Like, Jesus Christ. I hope everyone can take a few steps back, use your fucking skull, and lay the hell off.